The New York Liberty were supposed to be untouchable, loaded with stars, elite coaching, and a roster built to dominate. They were the team everyone circled on their calendars. But on a night when expectations clashed with cold reality, Caitlin, Clark, and the Indiana Fever didn't just beat them, they humiliated them. This wasn't a lucky break. It was a full-blown takedown in front of everyone watching, and the silence from Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu after the game said it all. This wasn't just a loss, it was a collapse, and it exposed everything. The Liberty didn't want you to see. Let's rewind the clock. Just a week earlier, Indiana faced the Liberty in a game marred by questionable officiating and missed calls. Fans were outraged. Fever players and coaches were visibly frustrated. And the storyline afterward was simple. The Liberty didn't win that game. The refs handed it to them. Caitlin Clark, the most scrutinized rookie in league history, took that personally. So when this rematch hit the schedule, it wasn't just another game. It was a revenge mission. Clark didn't whine. She didn't post cryptic tweets. She just circled the date and exploded. Clark dropped one of the most dominant performances of her WNBA career. From the opening tip, she was locked in, draining deep threes, running the offense with surgical precision, and putting pressure on New York's defense in ways they clearly weren't ready for. By the time the final buzzer sounded, Clark had shredded their defensive schemes and reminded the world why she was the #1 pick. Even Breanna Stewart, who rarely shows emotion after a loss, admitted Clark's performance was special. When your rival openly praises you after a blowout, that's respect, earned, not given. On paper, New York had every advantage. They were the top seed. They had veterans. They had chemistry. But when it mattered, they fell apart. Indiana lit them up for 102 points, 17 of which came from beyond the arc. Breanna Stewart summed it up best in the post-game interview. "It doesn't really seem like we were guarding much. That's not just coach speak. That's a red flag." The Liberty defense once feared was in shambles. Rotations were slow. Communication broke down, and Indiana's shooters punished them every time. But here's what made it even more brutal. Clark didn't do it alone. Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and Lexi Hull each hit daggers that buried New York's momentum. Liberty's head coach Sandy Brondello even admitted in the post-game press conference that they didn't expect players like Colson to hurt them from deep. That arrogance cost them dearly. When role players start looking like all-stars and you have no answer, it's not bad luck. It's a failure to prepare. The Fever's bench didn't just show up. They arrived with purpose and precision. If you tuned into the post-game press conference expecting defiance, you were disappointed. Breanna Stewart looked shaken. Sabrina Ionescu was trying to stay composed, but sounded confused. They didn't deflect. They didn't blame the refs. They just sounded defeated. Stewart said the team needed to look in the mirror. Sabrina admitted they couldn't get the offense flowing. Their tone wasn't angry, it was numb. And when your stars sound numb, you've got a deeper problem than just a loss. You've got a team crisis. And that leads us to the bigger issue, leadership. The Liberty were built around Stewart and Sabrina. But in this game, when the team needed a spark, a voice, a leader, nobody stepped up. Stewart struggled to make reads off Indiana's defensive switches. Sabrina looked rattled. And Coach Brondello subtly called them out by saying they needed more effort, more physicality, and more second chances. This wasn't just a technical loss. It was a cultural one. The Liberty looked like a team that had no idea what to do when things fell apart. Yes, the Liberty were missing key players like Jonquel Jones and Betnijah Laney Hamilton. But every team deals with injuries. What matters is how you adjust, and New York didn't. Kennedy Carter tried to fill in, but as Coach Brondello admitted, they didn't use her properly. "We probably should have activated her more," she said, almost regretfully. That's not just a coaching failure. That's a system failure. When your backups aren't ready and your game plan can't flex, your elite status means nothing. And a hungry team like Indiana will expose you. This game didn't just hurt the Liberty's pride. It shook the WNBA landscape. Indiana now holds a mental edge over one of the league's so-called giants. The Fever have gone from young and rebuilding to dangerous and unpredictable. And Caitlin Clark, she's not just a rookie anymore. She's a problem, and the league knows it. With every performance like this, the momentum shifts. Playoff positioning changes. Fan perception changes. And suddenly the Liberty don't look invincible anymore. They look like a blueprint on how not to handle pressure. What happened in this game might be remembered as a turning point, not just for the Fever, but for the entire league. Caitlin Clark didn't just get revenge, she flipped the narrative. She reminded the world that hype doesn't mean dominance, and that underdogs, when underestimated, can become nightmares. Stewart and Sabrina, they'll bounce back. They're too good not to. But this loss will linger, because they weren't just beaten. They were outclassed. And the Fever, led by a rookie and fueled by grit, just put the WNBA on notice. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's body language during the game, because it told a story all on its own. There was a confidence, a calm, and even a little swagger. Every time she crossed half court, the defense braced itself. She wasn't rushing, she wasn't panicking. She was orchestrating, like a veteran. And when she hit that logo 3 in the second half, it was more than just a highlight. It was a message that the torch wasn't being passed, it was being taken. What's more terrifying for the rest of the league? She's only getting started. But while Clark dominated the scoreboard, it was Indiana's chemistry that overwhelmed New York. You could see the difference in energy. The Fever bench was standing, clapping, fully invested in every possession. On the Liberty bench, silence, blank stares, frustration. Even the head coach seemed exasperated during timeouts. And when your bench stops believing, the game is already over. That's the hidden factor that no stat sheet shows. Emotional momentum. Indiana had it. New York lost it the moment their composure cracked. And then there's the media reaction. Within minutes of the game ending, clips of Clark's performance were all over social media. ESPN analysts were gushing. Fans were comparing the Fever's win to one of the greatest turnarounds in recent memory. And yet a few pundits still tried to downplay it, saying it was just one game. But you can't ignore the numbers. 102 points, 17 made threes, a double-digit win over the top team in the league. If that's just one game, then this league has a much bigger problem on its hands. You know what made this performance even more brutal for the Liberty? The way Indiana punished their mistakes. Every time New York missed a rotation, the Fever hit a 3. Every lazy closeout was punished. Every second effort that wasn't made turned into a highlight. That kind of clinical efficiency is rare for a young team, but Indiana didn't play young. They played like a squad with something to prove and nothing to lose. It's a dangerous combination, and one that the rest of the league needs to wake up to. Back to Breanna Stewart for a second. This is a player who's been through everything. Olympics, championships, MVP seasons. But on this night, she looked like someone searching for answers. She spoke about effort, about needing to be better. But behind those words was something else, doubt, not just in her team, but maybe in the system. You could see it in her eyes. For a player used to winning, these kinds of losses sting differently. And the concern now isn't just about bouncing back. It's about whether the core of this team can weather real adversity. And what about Sabrina Ionescu? Once seen as the future face of the league, she's now stuck in a system that doesn't seem to elevate her strengths. She talked about the offense breaking down, about not having rhythm. But the truth is, she didn't step up, not when it mattered. And that silence speaks louder than anything. The league isn't waiting anymore. There's a new wave coming, led by players like Caitlin Clark. And if the old guard isn't ready, they'll be swept away. This wasn't just a game, it was a warning. So where does New York go from here? They can talk about the long season, about bouncing back, about fixing things in practice. But the deeper issue isn't tactical, it's psychological. Once a team loses its aura of dominance, it's hard to get it back. And every opponent watching this game now knows the blueprint. Pressure the stars, let the others shoot, and force Stewart and Ionescu to carry the weight. If they crack again, it won't just be Indiana doing the damage next time, it'll be everyone. Meanwhile, Indiana's momentum is snowballing. They're no longer the team people felt sorry for. They're feared now. Teams can't afford to take them lightly, and Clark's confidence is contagious. When your rookie is making veterans look lost, it changes everything. And when your bench is dropping daggers like seasoned killers, that's not just hype. That's a culture shift. Coach Stephanie White's system is finally clicking, and every player looks like they believe in what's happening. That's dangerous for the rest of the league. And let's not forget what this means for the fans. Indiana's arena is packed. Merch is flying off the shelves. Kids are showing up with Caitlin Clark signs and Fever jerseys. This isn't just a basketball story. It's a movement. And with every performance like this, Clark is becoming more than just a star. She's becoming a symbol of change, of belief, of everything the league has been missing. And the WNBA, whether they're ready or not, has to adapt or risk falling behind the very wave they helped create.